Yo, what's going on? So, in this video, I'm going to be going over my continuation model that I look for every single day whenever I log onto the charts. So, yeah, I'm just going to get right into it. First off, I want to see a high time frame FVG get traded into. So, by high time frame, I mean hour, hourly, and 4 hour. I want to see us react off a fair value gap on one of those time frames. Next, or even first, I guess you could put this first in the list, doesn't really matter, but yeah. Next, find draw on liquidity. That could be unfilled gaps. For unfilled gaps, the lowest time frame I use is the 5 minute, so I use 5, 15 hour, and 4 hour whenever I look to target unfilled gaps. Then for the next, we have LRLR, which is trendline liquidity. I'll go over an example of that later on. Next, we have equals, equal highs or equal lows. Next, we have data wicks, which are the wicks formed from news candles, which are usually at 8:30 and 10 a.m. Sometimes 9:45, I guess. But yeah. Then we have London and Asia session highs and lows. So that is the second step. Identify the draw on liquidity. Next, we want to open up a 5 or a 15-minute fair value gap, and we want to see that get traded into. And then next, we want to see an inverse of the highest time frame gap out of the 5 or 15-minute fair value gap, targeting the draw on liquidity. So yeah, this is the continuation model, and now I'm going to go over some examples real quick. There's a really good example I took last week. This is May 14th. Yeah, there's a perfect example I took last week. I followed every one of those steps. Okay, bet here. Okay, bet. So here, this was my trade. Um, First, let me go over the reasoning behind it. Bro, are we serious? Okay, here it is. Sorry about that. So first, what the? Ignore that. But first, I'm gonna go over the reasoning behind it. So, let me find the replay. Replay, boom. Market open was right here. Boom. So on the hourly time frame, we are over here. I have both of these highs marked out on the hourly time frame, and during pre-market, I'm pretty sure we swept those highs on the 4 hour and 1 hour. So after we swept those, I was bearish and wanted to see this unfilled hourly get tapped into. This wasn't filled at 9:30. I'm not sure why it does that, but yeah. So my original target is this unfilled hourly after sweeping 4 hour highs. And then let's play market open and see what happens. We dump. We end up hitting my draw with no entry. I would have been willing to take an entry if we went up right here, tapped this 5 minute gap. This was a gap on the 5 minute, and then got an inverse on this leg right here, targeting that low or that unfilled hourly, but that did not happen, so I did not take anything. And then right now it is 9:40. Let's keep playing it. Boom. Okay, then right here, I noticed we just formed LRLR, which is trendline liquidity. Boom, we bounced off this trend line multiple times. And not only do we have LRLR, we also have equal lows right here. Boom, boom, equal lows. And not only do we have LRLR in equals, we also have an unfilled 4 hour fair value gap we just opened up. Oh, we opened up this unfilled 4 hour. It was unfilled at this time. Once again, not sure why it does that, but yeah. Unfilled 4 hour. And then I notice we're retracing into this 5 minute gap right here. And I also notice there's a 15 minute gap up here, which I wanted to see get traded into. But you'll see why I didn't care that it didn't get traded into on NQ. and still took a trade. Okay, so boom, we go up at these highs right here. There was a bearish SMT with ES, which means ES swept, what the hell? Which means ES swept this high, and ES also tapped this 15-minute fair value gap. So that's the same thing as NQ tapping it pretty much. So I was then looking for shorts right after I saw this SMT with ES. And then I looked for the highest time frame. Boom, we got a 3-minute. It's also a clean looking gap, so that's always good to see. And then we destroyed it. We ran through it in a single candle. So that was my entry once we closed through the 3-minute with my stop loss at the swing high. And I was targeting the unfilled 4-hour gap right here, this LRLR and those equals. And then let's play it out. And boom, TP for like 1.8 R about. So yeah, this was the trade. Let me go over the model again. So high time frame FEG. Okay, wait, hold the phone. I forgot to put a high time frame FEG or sweep. This is my fault. I could have sworn I had that. But yeah, high time frame FEG or sweep. Sorry about that. I could have sworn I had that put. But yeah, we had this high time frame sweep. I also count high time frame sweeps as a confluence. So yeah, sorry about that. But we swept these highs for the high time frame sweep. And then for the draw on liquidity, unfilled 4-hour right here. And we also had LRLR and equals. So that's draw on liquidity. Next, we had a 5-minute fair value gap. We did tap. And technically, we did tap the 15-minute on ES. So this also does count as a 15-minute tap. And then we had the highest time frame inverse as a 3-minute out as the entry. So yeah, perfect example of the model. And yeah, but I also want to talk about the high time frame sweep actually, because most of the time whenever there's a high time frame sweep, it tends to be a reversal trade. So more often than not on continuations, I want to see a high time frame FEG tap instead, but high time frame sweeps also work, but most of the time it's not going to be a continuation trade. But I count this as a continuation trade since unfilled 4-hour, like we were trending down. We just dumped. I was following the trend on the 1-minute. So yeah. I could go through another example. Let me think of what trades did I take last week. Okay, yeah, I think there was a good example last week as well. It was on Wednesday or Thursday. It was on Thursday. Thursday at 9 a.m. Sorry about this. Thursday at 9 a.m. Why am I on Friday? Okay, here it is. So boom, this is the trade. Ended up being a scale half break even, but it was a winning trade still. It was my model. So yeah, I'm just gonna get right into the trade. Let me find that replay tool real quick. Boom, 9:30. Boom. Okay, so first things first, my draw of liquidity was immediately this data low that we formed at 8:30. You could just tell it's an abnormally sized wick, and price wants to go to those large wicks. Lots of people have their stop losses there, etc. So they're a good liquidity target. And we also had equal lows down here, some liquidity down here as well. So yeah, I was looking bearish coming into market open. And then I also noticed we have an hourly fair value gap we're inside. So I wanted to see a reaction off this and then a short targeting this data low. So yeah, let's see what happened. Boom, we swept this high. We tapped this 15-minute fair value gap right here. Then right after I saw that, I wanted to see a short immediately. Let me delete this. I was looking for shorts immediately, and bam, we closed through this 1 minute fair value gap with really good momentum. So this was my entry right here, stop loss right here. And then let's see what happened. Boom, 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 boom. Here I scaled about 60% of my position at 1.2R, and then the rest ended up getting stopped at break even since the data wick did not get hit, which was very unfortunate. Pretty much always gets hit, but I guess we didn't want to hit this time. We just ended up chopping around after I got stopped at break even. So yeah, this was the trade. It's one of the most confident trades I've taken in a while. Just everything aligned really well. So let me just go over everything again. First off, high time frame FEG tap on the hourly. We reacted off this hourly gap. Next, draw on liquidity. We have this data low, as well as there's also relative equals and equals right here. So yeah, good draw on liquidity. Next, we also tapped a 15-minute gap up here. Boom. Tap 15-minute gap. In this scenario, I wouldn't necessarily need a 15-minute gap tap though if there's already this 1 hour we're inside, but yeah, we did still end up getting one. And lastly, we have an inverse. I took the 1 minute. The highest time frame was like a 3 minute, which I did not end up waiting for. I mean, it still worked all right, but I just took the 1 minute because I was just really confident in this trade, so I just wanted to get in as soon as possible. So yeah, that was the trade. Another example of my continuation model. So yeah, that's pretty much all. Yeah, that's pretty much all. You guys could let me know if you have any questions below in the comments, and also you could feel free to join my free Discord. The link of it is in my YouTube bio. So yeah, that's all, and yeah, peace out.